We all have that annoying kin in our lives, right? I know I do now. Kin is about a young adopted boy who discovers a high-tech weapon left behind in the wrecked buildings of Detroit. His older brother, who has just begun parole after leaving prison, tries to get out of a debt that he has to pay to a crime boss. So he takes off from the city with his brother and they do stuff. Occasionally they'll encounter the crime gang, and the kid will fire this gun that he found and blast objects into a cloud of poorly CG'd smoke. For the majority of Kin, I just sat there feeling very confused, because the world in this movie looks exactly like the world we know, except for the existence of this very high-tech gun the boy finds. We don't find out anything about it, what it is, or where it came from, until the very end of the movie, and only then is a revelation made to the boy of who he himself is. So as the credits start to roll, you realize you haven't really watched an entire movie. It feels like you've watched an extremely elongated first act of a movie. And in the hour and a half before the film reaches its conclusion, there's very little worth praising, mostly because there's very little content. These two brothers just hang out, try not to get caught by the crime gang, and their bond never makes emotional connection with the audience. This is the kind of story that should resonate with me, because I have an adopted sister, but it's written with such a severe lack of heart. The acting is, for the most part, adequate. The lead kid actor, Miles Truitt, is actually pretty good, and Dennis Quaid and James Franco are always reliable. On the other hand, though, Jack Rayner as the older brother I really couldn't buy. This is a character who has spent a decade in crime and has just gotten out of 6 years in prison, and he plays the part as if this was just a normal, everyday big brother. Zoe Kravitz is also in this movie, and she does fine, but her character is pointless. She's just someone who escapes with the two brothers from a strip club after a brawl with the owners, and she just lingers in the movie. Now, because barely anything happens in the movie, there's very little I can say about it before the end, which I'm now going to detail, so spoiler alert. So there are these two figures in armored suits that are trying to track the kid down, and when they get to him at the end, they tell him that they're from another world, and after that revelation, they say all of the first things you would expect them to say. The gun calls to you, you're one of us, our people are at war, blah blah blah. So they take their gun back and let the boy know that they're going to need him in the future. That is what this entire movie amounts to. Two people from another world asking for their gun back, and letting the kid know that they might need him in the future if the movie is popular enough for a sequel. And they are really confident that there's going to be a sequel, because one of these figures is revealed to be played by Michael B. Jordan. If there's not a sequel, they have totally wasted the time of such a talented actor. Overall, I just can't stress enough what a baffling decision this movie makes to only start accomplishing something during its final moments. It'd be like if the entirety of the first Harry Potter movie was Harry dealing with his life at Dudley. Every once in a while he accidentally did something magical, and then at the end Hagrid told him he was a wizard, and then he leaves for Hogwarts. I get the feeling that the directors had a 3-act structure for a single movie in mind, but decided that they wanted to make more money, so they stretched all 3 acts into 3 movies. Don't quote me on that, but from what I can foresee, the full story they have planned probably will have been enough for one movie, albeit a really generic fantasy movie considering the dialogue from Michael B. Jordan's character, but a movie nonetheless. I'm going to give Kin a 28%. That's a wrap, thank you for watching, I hope you found this review helpful. Like if you liked, subscribe for more. This is Pop Culture, I'm Alex Pop.